This is Dr. David Allen, and I'm talking to Miss Phyllis Carson about her experience on drugs. We're discussing the tragedy of her life on drugs, the treatment she received here at the Gospel Rescue Mission Treatment Center, and then the triumph that God has brought to her. Phyllis, tell us a little bit about your life on drugs.
Well, I started drinking at the age of 5 years old.
5 years old?
5 years old.
That's pretty young.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, my father was an alcoholic and he had 4 kids. And they would have parties. And by them having parties, we was a cleanup crew, me and my sisters and brothers. We were the cleanup crew, so we cleaned up by drinking it up. So I started off at a very early age of drinking, and that feeling I really liked when I was 5 years old. And as I grew older, going to junior village and foster homes, and my father was gone. He didn't know where we were. And by them running away, eventually they ran back into him and told him where I was, and he came and got me.
Really?
After 5 years.
So he takes you from junior village back home to his house.
Right. And he's an alcoholic. He has seizures. I have to take care of him.
And how old are you at this time when you're taking care of your father after junior village?
11 years old.
11 years old.
And see, it was no curfew for me, because by him being an alcoholic, he was always out of it, spaced out. So I stayed in the street at 11 years old. I was raised in the street. I basically raised myself.
Which street?
Out there in the hood, in the streets.
That's
Washington,
in Southeast or?
Northwest, Southeast, Southwest, Maryland, Virginia.
All over the street?
All over the place, 11 years old. So I basically raised myself.
But how does an 11-year-old girl cope on the streets in Washington, D.C.? Isn't that dangerous?
It's dangerous, but you do what you got to do. And that's another reason why I got into drugs at a very early age, because I was a woman as far as I was concerned. I ain't had to answer to nobody. I had nobody looking for me. I had nobody that cared enough.
Did people try to abuse you at 11 years old?
Well, a lot of people would try, but I was streetwise. I was raised, remember now, I raised myself in the streets.
You're pretty smart.
So, you know, and I have to admit, in doing the things that I did, I got into drugs because it was, as far as I was concerned, it was nothing else. Nobody couldn't tell me what to do.
So you had alcohol when you were 5.
Right.
Now what drug did you go on to next?
Weed, reefer.
Marijuana, right?
Marijuana.
Smoking every day?
Every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What did it do for you?
It made me nod all the time. I was always hungry. I would go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, you know. And I mean, I stayed high, but it progressed because it got to the point I didn't feel it no more. I didn't feel the liquor anymore. I didn't feel the weed anymore. It was like it was a gateway drug just to get me really where I was going.
So you had, we call that tolerance. You developed tolerance to alcohol, tolerance to weed. Then what next?
And then I went to heroin.
Injecting?
No, I never got to the injecting part because I always was afraid to mess my body up.
Okay.
And I used to see them with abscesses and holes in
So how would you take the heroin?
I would cook it up like I was going to shoot it, take the hype off and squirt it down my nose.
I see, okay.
But as a result of that, I breathe funny. I keep sores in my nose as of this day.
I see. What other drug did you go on to?
I was on acid.
What was acid like?
Oh, that was a trip. Everything, it was nothing you could do to me. Now that was, I loved acid. I mean, when I take that, anything you do to me was funny. It was nothing you could do to make me sad. Because that's the way it made me feel. And everything went in slow motion. And
you went up, but what happened when you came down?
That's just it. I tried not to come down, so I kept popping acid. Window pane, Christmas tree, sunshine, Michael dot, window pane. You know.
Did you hit cocaine at all?
Oh yeah, I started smoking cocaine, and when I started smoking crack, and then everything else had to go.
What was crack like when you met it for the first time?
Oh, it was the best feeling I had in the world. And
what did it feel like?
Oh, it just felt like it went straight to my head. like I was walking on clouds.
Wow.
And I wanted more and more and more and more, and I did what I had to do to get it by any means necessary.
Besides the drugs, I guess being a very attractive woman, did pimps try to pick you up?
Oh, I wasn't going for that, Dr. Allen. I wasn't going for no pimp. The only thing pimped me was the stem. I did my own prostitution, so I got to keep everything I earned. Money, drugs, whatever, it was mine. I had to give it to nobody.
So you were pretty tough on the streets?
Oh yeah, real tough.
Did men try to hurt you or kill you?
Oh yeah.
And what would you do?
That's why my tooth is missing out my mouth now, fighting a nigga for my life.
He gets his sex and he didn't want to pay.
Right, but it wasn't going like that because, see, I guess mine's up front.
You get your money first.
Yeah, before we do anything, you give me mine and I get rid of it. You can do what you want. I made sure that I got rid of it and you gave me mine. It ain't no I do and you give. You don't. That's not the ethical code on the street.
Did you ever go to prison?
I've been in prison practically all my life.
Can you get drugs in prison?
Yes, you can. Oh, it's definitely CCA and DC jail, of course. I mean, you had the big bus of them, the police, the officers bringing in drugs. You could you could always, and you have sex. I had sex in jail. I had drugs in jail. Basically, I did what I wanted to do.
Sex with what, men, women, or?
Both.
Okay.
I had no problem
and
with
nobody
both.
stopped you?
I mean, no. I mean, you had the officers messing with the inmates as well.
Phyllis, we've heard the tragedy of your life on drugs. How did you get into treatment?
They had the Bridges program, meaning that you, instead of going to jail, they send you to a class. Miss Judy Ashburn was director
one of our programs.
Where I was one of the ones in there. And
I think that's where I met you for the first time.
Right. I was in there, and it taught me a lot. So the only thing about using drugs is, okay, it's not for the needy. It's only for those that want it when you're trying to stop.
Explain that now.
When you, see, everybody need to stop using drugs, for real.
And everybody know they should stop.
Everybody, they know that.
So what makes a difference?
The difference is, when you want to stop using drugs, it's not for the needy, for the ones that need it. It's for the ones who desire, who want it.
What made you desire to stop?
Be honest with you, sleeping in an abandoned building, abandoned cars, sleeping on concrete, not taking baths, not brushing my teeth, and by the grace of God, not having HIV for not using condoms. And I said, something has to change. I'm getting older.
Who told you something has to change?
I did. See, I've stopped using drugs many a times, but it's not the stopping, it's the staying stop that I had trouble with. So I said, I can't do this by myself. And I really I cried, I just said, God, I just want to stop. I called on God. And I said, Lord, see, I don't stop using.
So you believe there was a God?
Oh, yeah. It's no question, because I'm here today. I'm alive. I'm in my right state of mind. I mean, I wasn't in my right state of mind. I looked like I had AIDS. My hair was coming out real bad. I was bald-headed. I was messed. I was tore up from the floor up. You wouldn't even want to speak to me, you see me on the street. I had to dress up like a little boy just to come outside because so many people knew the way I used to look, But I said, I have got to change. I don't want to die. That's what see, I've always said that I was going to die using drugs and wasn't nobody going to do nothing about it. But then, I said, I don't want to go like this. I don't want to live like this. I'm homeless, going to men's homes. And can I give you some sex to sleep on your floor, on your couch, or on your bed? Having money and drugs one night, and after it's all gone, they put me out. I got tired, even in the cold, freezing outside, sleeping in places that SHIT is all over the place, and rats are dead, and abandoned cars, abandoned buildings with no glass in them. I just got tired of no heat.
You got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Of being sick and tired. And I said, finally, I said, Lord, help me. And I said, Lord, just help me. Please help me. Send me somebody. And this man came along. He said, Miss, you need a ride. That was God. And I asked him to help me. And this man came along and said, Miss, you need. I said, yeah. Can you take me to detox? He said, was serious, I would. I said, I'm very serious. Please take me. He said, where your clothes? I said, I don't have nothing to take me now while my mind is on going before I change my mind. See, it's okay to say, I ain't gonna do no drugs when I ain't got no money. Soon as the money comes, those drugs, I'm doing them. So he took me to detox. And the man said, well, I'm gonna send you to keg in detox. Mr. Washington, I remember his name, he was my case manager. He's my counselor. He said, I'm gonna send you to keg. I said, keg is 1 month to 3 months. I need a long-term drug program. I tell you what, it's a lady named Judy Ashburn, and I remember it's called the Fulton House of Hope. That's where you send me.
But what about the program at the Fulton House of Hope helped you?
You talking about help me? It helped me to sit with self.
It helped you to sit with self?
Sit with, I've never done that in my life.
What do you mean, sit with self?
That means keep the focus on me. Get to know me. All them 3 months I was in a blackout, that was all about me.
So you never was able to sit with you?
Never. I ain't never had to sit with myself. And today, because of that, I live alone. I get to know me. I get to go to movies by myself. I take myself out to eat. Miss Murray, Miss Judy, Miss Cynthia, Miss Helen, I mean, them people, especially Miss Murray. Oh, God.
That's Mary, eh?
Miss Murray taught me so much about me.
She's a powerful lady, isn't she?
Yeah, because she always been a con artist, always.
You can't con Miss Mary.
No. And she showed you yourself, you know, we did the mirror thing. We had to look in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said. Look in the mirror. You see that? That's you. You don't want to sit with self and learn about self. That's the reason why I was taking all the focus off me, keeping the focus on somebody else to keep the focus off of me and get away with all my mess. Because I don't want nobody to see all the masses I had. Miss Murray told me about the masses and how she unpeeled them one by one. And she broke down that wall. You know?
Wow, I think I met you there too.
That's right, and you brought in the shame and the guilt. You showed me manipulation, and you know, the main thing I learned from you is, and you and Miss Murray, is I got to stay out what's between my ears. That self-will thing. See, I can't sit up there and keep thinking, because thinking got me in the street. Thinking got me doing the things I was doing, my way of thinking, you know. And I'm only as sick as my secrets.
You had to change your thinking.
I had to, look, the behavior, the attitude, the thinking, and my belief system.
And I remember, you know, when I teach at the Fulton House, you'd sit on the chair and you'd listen to everything I say.
Because that's how bad I wanted it. That's how bad I wanted it. Because, you know, I said, God, you know, all you gotta do is just get me in a place where I can get everything I need. And the Fulton House, can't nobody tell me something bad about the Fulton House.
It's one of the best treatment places for women in the world.
Oh, my God.
It's wonderful. Phyllis Carson graduated from the Fulton House of Hope. We've talked about the tragedy. We've talked about the treatment. Now, what's it been like since June living off drugs?
I've never had so much peace in my life, so much joy. I told you I was homeless. I stayed in the street. But today, finishing the Fulton House, I have a permanent job in Gospel Rescue Ministries. Well, look where God took me from and brought me to. Because now I work in treatment. I get to see fresh pain every day, which keeps me clean. That's what God put me at, which keeps me clean, you know. And I know—
Ever get tempted?
You know, that will probably always be in my life, getting tempted. But I learned something. Just because I feel like I want to use, I don't have to.
Your life has been changed.
God has changed. I mean, not only has he changed my life, he renewed my mind. I don't think the way I used to. I don't do the things I used to. I don't put myself in harm's way. I refuse, and this is I thank God for this. I refuse, like Ms. Murray said, to go back and lick up the vomit. See,
I refuse to go back and look up the vomit.
vomit.
You're moving on, man.
I unlearned to relearn.
Phyllis, I've asked you a lot of questions. Any questions for me?
Yes. I'm surprised you said that. Why do you do this?
Ah, Phyllis. I come from a family of people who've served people, either in the church, business, politics, and we believe in serving people, people helping people. And through God's grace, He's allowed me to go around the world and to share that kind of love. And I've seen so many miracles like you. And every time I look at you, you bless me and you encourage me.
And that's the thing about you, every time you come, you know. That's why I be so tense, and I be sitting on my seat when you come around a Fulton House, because you have so much to give, and you can tell you got God in your heart and in your life for you to do things like this, for you to care about people like us, you know. For just, see, people like us need to know that it's people like you in the world. People like Mr. Katesi, Pastor Pendleton, you know, Miss Hodges, Pastor Hodges, and Mrs. Pendleton. People like y'all in the world. Because see, if somebody notice just one person care, that's just like God. He lose one sheep.
You know, Phyllis, let me tell you something. Because you've been through the dirt, because you've been hurt tremendously, the healing that God has given you is not only going to bless you, but your life is going to be used to bless many a young woman and many a young man. You have a great ministry
Thank you.
ahead of you. You bless me, you witness to me, you encourage me. I think of you even when I go to Nassau. And guess what? I pray for you too.
Thank you.
Because I know the temptations don't stop. I know the road still is hard. But you know what? If God be for us, who could be against us? We're going to win. Thank you so much, Phyllis.
Love you. I love you. Thank you so much.
God bless.